Hello, I'm Harsha. I'm starting a new initiative called Study Legal, where I'm going to decode or demystify some of the law terms for you. One thing I like to tell you is that I'm not a lawyer by profession and I have only studied law as part of my PG diploma in cyber law and forensics. So, this is my own research and my interpretation of law. Feel free to subscribe, like, and share the content if you like it, and leave a comment if you have any questions for me. So, let's get to the first topic, which is the Tort Law, which is very important to know when you start off your career or your studies as a lawyer. So, let's begin. As I said, the concept and the theory are going to be separate. Today, we are going to talk more about the concepts using the real life examples. Tort is nothing but tortum. Tortum is twisted behavior. If somebody has not been careful, they have failed to fulfill their duties, and you see that their conduct was twisted, then we say a tort has been committed. To understand this, now let's take an example that you are in a cricket match and you're watching the cricket match. Somebody from behind spills over hot tea on you, and maybe let's call this person as Rahul. He is somebody who gets excited too quickly and he accidentally spills over the tea on you. Because of that, you are hurt. You couldn't watch the match easily, and you also got some burns. Your clothes were damaged. What has happened now? A tort has been committed. A crime is not committed, but a tort has been committed. What is the ultimate goal in a tort? A goal is compensation, because you need to be compensated for the ruined clothes, your medical burns, the damages which was caused to you. So you claim some amount, and since you have paid for it, you go ahead and go ahead in front of a judge and you say X tort was committed, and because of this, Y is the amount which I need to be compensated for those torts which are committed. Now the judge will ask what are the three pillars of tort, and how do you say that a tort has been committed. Now you need to prove three things. Think of this as like a tort formula. First, what is that a wrongful act has been committed? We already know that Rahul was not taking care of his hot tea in a crowded place. He committed an act of negligence. Second, what is the legal damage which you are claiming? It's not just about your physical pain, it's also being your right being violated, wherein you had somebody causing injury to you, which is we call as injury sine damno, which means you were hurt by somebody else, and because of that you require a compensation so that your rights were violated. The second part is you go sit in the same match, maybe a sixer is hit and that ball comes and hits you, it causes some amount of physical damage to you. In this case, you won't get any legal rights, because you know that by sitting in a stand, there is a chance of a ball coming and hitting you. So in that case, there is no tort being committed, because you already knew the risk and you have accepted and you have sat there. Third part is what is the remedy? Okay. The remedy is wherever there is a right, there is a remedy. So your legal right has been violated, so there is a remedy. And your remedy is usually in form of the money. And in rare cases, it would be like an injection wherein you say somebody has to stop looking into you, or stop bothering you, or stop being in some, say like, I don't want to see this person within 500 meters of my house, or things like that. Now, what is tort law? There is nothing called as tort law. We don't have a tort law for stadiums. We don't have a tort law. In India, if you take, there are just uncodified set of rules which every judge applies based on the principles of justice, equity, and good conscience. Now, think of a scenario like there is a slippery floor in the same stadium. Now, if you go ahead and even after looking at the sign, if you go ahead and have a fall there, it would be assumed that you knew the risk, but still you went ahead and you were walking even though it said slippery floor, and therefore you might not get full compensation. Maybe there might be like a ratio 50-50 or something like that. But in case of Rahul spilling tea on you, it's a tort wherein Rahul has committed, and therefore you need to be compensated by Rahul in full. There is another scenario wherein you went to the same stadium, they offered you a seat wherein some part of the seat was broken. Then it becomes like a breach of contract, because you were paying for that seat and you were supposed to get a working seat. Because you are not getting a working seat, that's like a breach of a contract. Now, in contract, the duty is being fixed by both the parties. You paid for the seat, they agreed to provide it, but it is not fulfilling the promises they made to you. Therefore, it's a breach of contract. But in a tort, the duties is not bound by law, or what we say is duties are something which is done in the principles of justice, equity, and good conscience, right? You didn't have a contract with Rahul. He was somebody, he was a stranger. You didn't know him before he spilled tea on you. But he or everyone in the stadium had a general duty not to harm others. So this is where we say that the rights is something, an act which you commit against an individual. It is very specific or private, whereas crime is something which you commit against the state. So in tort, what would happen is, if you are harmed by anyone by their twisted act, then you would go ahead and sue the person who is doing the wrong. Okay. What would you do in case if somebody stole your purse in the stadium? What would happen at that time? Then we say that it's a crime has been committed, because it's a pickpocketer who's coming into the scenario. He committed wherein it is called as a crime. At that time, the state would coming into the prosecution. So that's how a difference between crime and a tort would happen. In a very simplified way, a tort is like a private wrong, a crime is a public wrong. Okay. Now, you can just go ahead and look at this table which I am now showing. What would happen in the tort? The duties are something which are set by the law, and what would here main part is that the goal is for compensation, and the court decides what kind of damages you are going to get and how are you going to get paid. And there is no codified laws in case of tort, but it is all about how the judges will decide whether that was done in the good spirit or it was a wrong thing which was done. And contract is always between two or more than two parties, but it is very specific. And it is like damages are pre-decided, and also compensations is the main goal here. Lastly, the crime is done against the state or the society, and usually there is a punishment. Sometimes there are fines or jail terms which are given as a damages. That's the main difference, and how we have to interpret tort and crime. With this, we will end this first introductory session on tort. Please do leave your comments. In the next session, we will be going through more detailed technical definitions, and we will also discuss the commonly asked questions. For now, signing off from here. See you. Bye-bye.